weight gain compared to the amount of protein that has been taken in terms of nitrogen, sorry. You're using nitrogen as your measure of protein. So, and that is the most accurate and the most used, the most credible measurement of utilization of what? Of protein. Then we have factors influencing protein requirements. That's basically the basal metabolic rate and the physical activity. Then what I want to talk about now is the fats. We have two types of fats, the saturated fat and the unsaturated fats. So the saturated fats are what causes the most common cause of increased LDL. That's the low density lipoprotein. That's the bad cholesterol that people call. So, and that's what leads to atherosclerosis and its complications. So these saturated fats, these are mainly the solid fats. For example, the margarine, the blue band, the butter, these are your saturated fats. Then we have the unsaturated fats that are mainly oils, as like your olive oil, your sunseed oil, and the note. But we see that the unsaturated fats can be converted to the saturated fats by a method known called hydrogenation. And this method is catalyzed by nickel. So because the unsaturated fats have a double bond. I think you remember your O-level chemistry, you hydrogenate that bond and it becomes a single bond. And that double bond on the unsaturated fats are what prevent close packing. Close packing of, you see, because the saturated fats are solid even. So being unsaturated and that double bond prevents that close packing, so they're more liquid. So what are the essential fats? There are essential fatty acids and there are the non-essential ones. But we're going to talk about the essential ones only, which is linoleic acid and linolenic acid. I'm sure you guys remember those ones. Yeah. So now these are your essential fatty acids. How much of those essential fatty acids do you need in your diet? You need 5 grams. 5 grams, and in total fat you need like 30 to 50 grams of fat in your diet, max. So then it's also important to know the pathways of metabolism, the metabolic pathways of breakdown of metabolism of your carbohydrates and of your lipids, to know what exactly is going on in your body. Yeah. So then we also should know that there are hormones responsible for hunger and satiety. These are the orexin, the ghrelin, and the leptin. Leptin is produced by peripheral fatty tissue. Okay, it might even be peripheral. It might be visceral, but it's secreted by the fat. And this goes to the brain and stimulates it to decrease hunger. So that's why you see obese people this can also be a pathology in the obese, because they might have deficiency of leptin. And the deficiency of leptin will make them always hungry. They'll have the fat, but the fat will not be secreting the leptin. So they're always hungry and always want to eat. Yeah, so then we have orexin that's secreted by the hypothalamus, and ghrelin. When the stomach is empty, it will stimulate release of ghrelin. Ghrelin goes to the hypothalamus, stimulate release of orexin, and will stimulate hunger. So, diet prescription. I'm going to go through this very quickly. So now, a human being, a normal human being, a normal adult human being, let's say I'm 60 kilograms. I want to calculate my total. It's important to calculate my required calories. How do we calculate calories? I'm sure many of us are interested in this part, right? Yeah. So let's say I'm 60 kilograms and I want to find out how many calories that my body needs, approximately. Because this is not like accurate 100%, approximately. You multiply your body weight by 30 kilocalories. That's your total amount of calories that your body needs. But then again, you need to take into account that some of this energy is used in the process of digestion. 10% is used in the process of digestion. We call it the SDA, the specific dynamic action. As basically dynamic action, we use 10% of the calories, 10% of our calories to digest the food. So we have to take into consideration that loss, that loss. So after getting our total calories, we get 10% of our total calories and add it to our calories. Are we understanding? No. No. So I have written there weight times 30 kilo times 30. Those are our total calories. Then I didn't include it here, but 10% is lost during the digestion of those calories. 10% is lost. So we have to calculate 10% of those total calories and replace it. Get 10% from your total calories and add it back. So because you know that is going to go to the what? To the process of digestion. Yeah. So then there you have your total calories. I already explained to you what RDA is, and is the average daily dietary intake level sufficient to meet the nutrient requirements of nearly all healthy persons of specific sex, age, life stage, or physical condition. So we mentioned the dietary protein is 10 to 15% required. And also now, to another main point I want all of us to understand here today, is that our bodies require 70% carbs, 20% fat, and 10% of protein. You just keep that in your head, and when you're calculating how many calories that your patient needs to maintain a balanced diet, that's what they need. That's how you would divide their calories. Okay, and also it's important to note that fat contributes the highest number of calories, which is 9 calories per gram. And then the carbs contribute 4, and the carbs and the protein, protein also contributes 4 calories. So it's very essential. So now moving on, we have to know the general composition of foods. After doing all of that, after calculating your required calories, after approximating your required portions, the 70, the 20, and the 10, and dividing them according to your total calories, you're supposed to know the general compositions of the food. How do you know this? Through reading nutrition facts. I know some of you can get your juice, your splash, sip your splash, and you don't look at your nutrition facts. You ignore them because apparently the juice is too sweet. So I urge everyone to always look at their nutrition facts. And if you're going to eat something, for example, the lunch, you see, today I'm going to eat sweet potatoes. They're apps for this, so you can even go to Google and say, sweet potatoes, nutrition data. They'll bring for you how many carbs you're eating, how much protein you're eating, and how much fat you're eating, which is crucial if you want to maintain a proper balanced diet and a healthy diet, void of saturated fats. So now, on top of that, after doing all of that, we prescribe a normal diet. That's just getting which foods that someone should eat and foods that someone should not eat. So now, malnutrition in children. I wanted to discuss malnutrition in children because 50% of childhood deaths are due to malnutrition. And I think that's not right. Right? Yeah. So malnutrition is a cellular imbalance between supply of nutrients, energy, and the body's demand to ensure growth and maintenance of specific functions. There's an imbalance between the two, the supply and the demand. So we have certain consequences that children are going to face. They're going to become anemic, they're going to be blind, they're going to have repeated infections due to reduced immunity and growth impairment. And then assessing for malnutrition, we have certain few things that we have to look out for. Middle upper arm circumference, presence of edema, the appetite test, and weight for height or length using the World Health Organization growth charts. There are certain charts that we use to look at certain standard deviations that are able to classify the different types of malnutrition. Excuse me. So this is a table showing you how to classify your malnutrition. There's moderate acute malnutrition and severe acute malnutrition. You can look at this later in your free time. So now we have two big dogs in malnutrition among children. That's